I think university students need to stop thinking of Russian as difficult. Not because Russian is easy, don't get me wrong, it absolutely has its moments. I am looking at you, verbs of motion. But very often, Russian is not impossible, it is simply just different. So I want you to think about programming and computer scientists. If someone has already learned one programming language and they move on to another one, they usually don't think, oh gosh, well, I can't express that in this new language. Instead, they start to think that what they can express is still there and the logic is still there, but the way they need to write the code changes. And real life languages work in a really similar way. So let's look at the Russian verb of motion, обойти. It can mean to get around, and обходить means to go around. So physically to get around something. However, it can also mean avoid or bypass. And at first you might think, why are we using a verb of motion to mean avoid or bypass? But then in English, we can say, we'll get around this somehow. In Russian, you can say мы как-то это обойдем, literally, we will get around this somehow, and it means the same thing. Yes, the structure is different, but it is the same communicative need. The problem is that at university, Russian can start to feel like a never ending list of exceptions, tables, and things that you are scared of getting wrong. But when you are starting to think more functionally, you realize that your job is not just to produce perfect Russian from thin air. Your job is to learn how Russian expresses the things you already want to say. And imagine what that would feel like before going abroad. Imagine arriving already having Russian language functional skills. Not perfect Russian, but something that's functional that can actually get you to speak properly, and from there it will improve much quicker. The kind of Russian that lets you ask questions, deal with everyday situations, explain what you need, and not rely on a native speaker so you can do basic things like getting a SIM card or, opening a bank account. This is the work that we do inside Step with Confidence, my teaching program. Over the summer, before you go abroad, you learn and practice in real time with structure, support, and cultural context that is relevant to Central Asia and the rest of the post Soviet space that is not Russia, so that Russian stops feeling like something that will take forever and starts becoming something you can actually use straight away. Because functional Russian is absolutely doable, and you do not have to wait until being fluent and mastering all the grammar to start speaking properly. If that sounds interesting, just send me a DM. I love talking to students of Russian, so yeah, let's get a conversation going.